Hello everyone, it's Matt here and welcome to the July update for the Brickliner project. Now the reason why I've said it's the Brickliner project is because I've changed the name of it to being the Brickliner. And there's a very basic and very easy reason for that. It's to do with the identification and branding of it. Basically, by me calling it the Streamliner project, there's not a real identification of what it necessarily is, because obviously several people have done streamlined trains in Lego, be it sort of like imitation ones of real life ones or custom ones which are given special names. And the reason why I've said Brickliner is because it's the sort of Lego-ified version of Streamliner. So it kind of fits in with that kind of cheesy sort of Lego nomenclature of naming things with a Lego feel to them, such as the labelling on the new London Bus Creator Expert model, for example, being the latest suggestion or example of that. And the other thing is, of course, is that with me doing like the custom tailgate slash light for the observation car and a few other bits and pieces, it just ties it all together to call it the Brickliner. So very simple about that. The next thing I want to talk about in the update is storage, because at the present time, anytime I needed to move the stuff around to take it through events, to show off for, say, Brick Central members and stuff like that, I had to carry it around in either loose or carrier bags or things like that. Well, not anymore, because I actually now have a really useful box. This is a 18-litre example, it says on the sticker there, and this can actually fill and contain the entire tray with room to spare. And it's a very easy way of doing this. So I'll just bring the box a bit, so I'm just about in camera shot. It can fit 2 passenger cars that way, across the bottom here, an observation car sort of there, just about, with a little bit of parts removal, and then we can just about fit the loco in as well, sort of in the sort of triangles that creates. And there's also room to stick another passenger car on top. Obviously this is all depending sizing and final testing, but hopefully this will contain the entire train with some room to spare for example some track, or even for a charge for the power functions battery that's located in the tender. But it's alright me speaking about the model. Let me now show you what progress has been done to the model itself. Well, there's the updates for the model as it stands at the moment. Now, the next bit of it isn't such good news. To begin with, I did take the loco out and the observation cart to the Fan of the Brick event, where I was able to test it on somebody's layout in terms of sizing and the actual mechanism, as well as taking it to Collectomania for just general display purposes. Now, while I haven't actually seen any photos of it from Collectomania, except for some of the internal ones from Brick Central, with the Fan of the Brick ones, I'll actually be looking at those slightly later on, or adding them on at a tail thing to show you the sort of like the issues that have been identified from taking it to the event for testing purposes. The next bit of it is to do with the LEGO Digital Designer. I'm still going through some of the design work and redesign work in LEGO Digital Designer, and that includes redoing the loco because of the issues identified at Fan of the Brick. So, to draw it into the most basic terms, because of the gearing and the sort of effort the motors are needed to put into the mechanism to get it to turn properly, I've decided to just abandon the amplification gearing and go for a more direct drive, as well as redesign the chassis for better stability using the sort of like standard Technic parts, so that's sort of like the brick ones with the gap in the middle for the gearing. And the reason for that is that when I was testing it at the Fan of the Brick event, sort of when it was closed to the public, sort of like before the opening, it didn't work very well at all. It did sort of work in terms of it would move along the track slightly, but the issue is that because of the gear meshing, you'd get to a point where it'd work for about a foot, and then the gears would go out of the mesh, and then you just hear this sort of like grinding sound as the motors were churning away, and the gears were just skipping over each other, sort of like. So if that was stiff, so if this is a tough, for example, you just have that sort of noise or action. So it'd just be skipping over the teeth, and then you'd have this like sort of like almost like clock ticking sound. So obviously I've got to deal with that, and the easiest way to do that is to sort of make the mechanism a lot and the chassis a lot more straighter and more rigid by using the Technic parts, so it's all sort of aligned very sort of straightly, for lack of better words, and that I eliminate all that extra mechanism to try and get a bit more speed out of it, so that it's more of a direct drive. And although the loco probably won't get to as good a speed, because I was trying to amplify it for speed, I was also taking away some of the torque the motors had to actually power the train. Now, I've actually been able to feel the weight of some of the passenger cars, and I'm just thinking how much they'd weigh. The passenger cars do weigh a good weight. They are fairly heavy, obviously because they're 7 so it's custom chassis, and they're bigger than standard passenger cars from Lego, etc, 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 more detail, blah blah blah. So they are a lot bigger, they're a lot weightier, and of course, instead of there being just like 2 or 3 from the Lego perspective, there's actually 4 of them. So it's 4 coaches, increased size, increased weight. The 2 motors with the tried to emphasise the speed probably wouldn't go that well. So now the chassis is going to be completely redesigned, and I'm probably going to have to change the way the body anchors onto the chassis as well, because obviously the chassis is going to be redesigned completely. Moving on to updates for the project now. The next update probably isn't going to be that big, because obviously there's a very expensive couple of months coming up, because obviously there's the special event I'm not at liberty to talk about at this moment, in terms of publicly, but essentially it involves a trip to Billund in August time. So I'm still paying off certain things for that, such as the flights and the hotels, but there's a few other bits surrounding that as well, which are going to be costly, so it pulls into that, so it reduces the actual Lego purchasing budget, etc, etc. But there will be probably an update in August, because it's now July. So there'll be an update in August about the redesign of the loco and the possible tinkering work required on the tender. So anyway, that's it for this update. Hopefully I'll see you next month.